101 years ago. She started off at number 41. That's why you see 41 above me. And then shortly after, or after she was built, she was then sold to Ohio Public Service. They already had a number 41, and so they renumbered her to 64. That's why it says 64 on the outside and 41 on the inside. As we get going, I'm going to give you a little bit of history about the museum. We started out as the Central Ohio Rail Fans Association. We were a group of guys who did O-gauge modeling and went on train excursions. They went out easy. At some point, however, the Akron Historical Society had a streetcar numbered Ohio Public Service number 21, and they couldn't care for her anymore. And so, what they did is they contacted us and they said, we have a car, we can't care for her, can you? And we were like, yeah, sure. So they sold it to us for $1. And that's how we got our first piece of equipment. That was all well and good. We got our first piece, except we didn't have anywhere to keep number 21. And so we worked with the Pennsylvania Railroad to get a siding, or to keep her at a siding at the Columbus Fairgrounds. And that's where restoration work started. That was all well and good, and we started preparing her. We replaced the windows, get new seats in, that kind of stuff. Except every step forward we take, Vandal would say 2 steps back. So like I said, we replaced the windows, the Vandals would break out the windows. We replaced the seats, the Vandals would scratch the seats out again. And at one point they even tried setting the car on fire. So it was clear that number 21 needed a new color. One of the members had an idea, what if we lease some of the old Columbus, Delaware, and Marion railways right away? That's exactly what they did. We are riding on the old Columbus, Delaware, and Marion railway. Not the original tracks. Those were torn up from the bankrupt and the war, World War II. But during the 40s, 50s, and 60s, get a little further, you can look to your left, and you'll see our aptly named South Yard. Our South Yard has 3 boxcars and a ballast car. Boxcars are still used today to haul everything from cell phones to fruit and hardware you find in the hardware store. On the very end, like I said, you'll see our ballast car. Our ballast car carries, as you might have guessed, ballast. Ballast is a stone that goes in between the ties and under the rail. And it keeps the ties, or wooden parts, from shifting, and it helps track the weight of the train. As we get a little further, you can look to your left and see 2 tracks near us. That's Norfolk and Southern. There are the black diesels with the yellow or white horses. If you look a little across the way, you can't really see it right now, but you will in a second. You'll see CSX, that single track over there. CSX are the gray engines with the yellow and the blue lettering. You might notice that CSX, oh hey, there's a train right there. Andy's carrying coal. You can tell he is. If you might have a GPU on. It might have a GPU, we'll see. But you can tell he's loaded because you can actually look at the springs on the trucks and see if they're compressed. So that's how you can tell if the train is loaded or not. You can also just look on top and see if it's carrying coal. Yeah.
I said the coal on the top.
Coal on top.
What were you saying, that DPU?
Yeah.
Distributed power unit.
One of our guests said that the train might have DPU. That's a distributed power unit. Eventually here, if the train's long enough, you'll see another engine distributed down the track or down the train, and it gives extra pulling or pushing power, as well as another source for pushing.
Never knew what that was called. So
There you go.
I'm from here originally, but I live in Colorado now, and everything out there's got pushers and,
Oh, yeah.
well, I mean, big grades up the mountains. So.
Oh yeah, they definitely need the help. The DPU engines are actually remote controlled over radio.
Okay.
And so they
Switching
actually
it
have
over to
control
go
of
in
it
reverse.
over from the front of the train.
Oh, very cool.
As we're getting our poles switched around, because we're about halfway done, we have 2 poles on top of this, and that's because the trolley is electric. What you heard running just a second ago is an air compressor, not an engine. The trolley has 4 25 horsepower motors for a grand total of 100 horsepower. But don't let that fool you. If we were to open the throttle up all the way, she'd go 90 miles an hour. And that's because the track has such low friction.
Plus, the track squiggle can't go that fast.
Oh yeah, we can't go that fast because our tracks are not nearly as straight.
You can do it once.
Yeah, we could do it once, and the train would fall off.
For science!
There you go.
Yeah, you can do anything once. Just don't get to reuse the train or us.
Exactly. That's our signal for reverse, and we'll start heading back.
Yep, he's definitely one. So they ever tried one of these at that kind of speed somewhere on better track or something?
But when they were new.
Really?
Yeah, when they were new, they'd be going. So this is an that brings me to my next subject. There's 2 types of trolleys. There are interurbans and there's streetcars. Interurbans are where you'd be able to go that fast. You're going between cities. That's like your Greyhound buses.
No DPU.
No DPU. Yeah, so your interurban goes between cities.
Hey.
And that's where they could get up to that speed. There's also streetcars, which stay within the city, like Dakota buses. Can anybody guess what kind of trolley that we're riding on right now is? I heard somebody say interurban. That'd be right. I don't know who says, but somebody did. Congratulations. The way that you could figure that out is you actually look behind you, you'll see a little room. That's the bathroom. Empties right under the track. That's why they say don't play on the track. If you were to look from the outside, you'll see the window is actually tinted so you couldn't see inside. This car used to run on the Marion and Mansfield and Shelby. There we go. The 2 M's get you mixed up. Marion, Mansfield and Shelby, which is a 12-mile train.
When to stop when you're looking that way and you're going this way. I mean, is the brakeman's all on him?
Yep, so we have our brakeman in the back. He's watching diligently, making sure nobody's on the track, no gear, or anything like that. As well as checking the points on the switch to make sure we're going the right way.
Okay.
And then our motorman is just listening for him over the radio.
Oh, okay. Back before radio, how did you handle that? Were they yelling at each other?
There's a bell up there.
Oh, so
he can actually kick,
Okay.
and that'll signal to the other end of the train.
That makes sense.
As we get a little further, you'll see this little house right here.
You can just roll it to the house.
This little house was first started by one of the museum volunteers named George Silcott Sr. He had a business venture. He realized that Worthington needed coal, and you'll see right there there's a little scale right next to the scale house. This is how Worthington used to get their coal to heat their house. And then a little bit further, you'll see this white building. This white building, I was talking about the Pennsylvania Railroad earlier. They used to have passenger service in Worthington, and you would get on and off the train right here at the light bar. As we continue a little further, you'll see a red barn. The red barn was the Pennsylvania Railroad's freight wheel. They would take those boxcars I talked about earlier, park them in the siding right here, and they would load up freight from any of the residents of Worthington, ship it all across the U.S. Now you might notice the building needs a little repair, and you'd be right. Thankfully though, about 1.5 years into 2 years, George Silcott Sr.'s company actually moved down in this area, and he has started leasing this land. We plan on restoring all these buildings so that people can walk in them and preserve them for future generations. And that's all detailed on the plan that we have on the love shack or snack shack down right here. You can see a plan we have for this whole area. So I was talking about George Silcott Sr. earlier. He started off providing coal to Worthington, but eventually that fell out, needed a new business venture. And so what he did is he switched from delivering coal to Worthington to repairing and maintaining these buildings. That's what he used to do on this land. He used the green barn, which we're just about to pass. That was built in the 1980s, and that's what he serviced and repaired for diesel locomotives. That building is a little extra significant because during the attacks of 9/11, George Silcott's company actually modified the diesel switcher, just like the one we have. They dropped the cab and dropped the frame in order to let it fit into the tunnels of the New York subway to clear debris. As we get a little further, I'd like to point out the orange speeder. There's also attached to the other one. We offer speeder rides for a low price of $3. And what we do is we take you down back to where those white buildings are. And you can enjoy a little speeder ride. That's what they used. Wave idle is. That's what they used before they attached railroad wheels to trucks. They would use speeders to maintain the track. As we're getting finished, I'd like to remind you that everybody